check 1, 2, and 3. Let's continue to grind to shine, baby. As the room fill up, be sure, and I mean just that, be sure. Hit the like button, share this content, regardless of the situation, win, lose, or draw. Cowboy Nation, we here, bring it. We right here, and we ain't going anywhere. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you all that's tuning in to the nation. One love. Salute to all of you all. Appreciate you guys for being part of this. There's two sides to every conversation or argument, but here in Cowboys land, and especially on Law Nation Sports, Monday and Tuesdays, we have to do our due diligence and still go over the previous game. I get a lot of people say, hey, let's move on. Let's go to the Giants. And this was the only, 3 times this year that you guys say that. When we win, y'all want, hey, let's continue to talk about it. Let's talk about it all the way into Thursday, Friday, and forget about the next opponent. But we got to do this. This is life. You got to go and take the good with the bad, and that's what I'm going to bring. And keep in mind, football season, it's a real quick one. It's not a long one. So we have, less than about 90 days before the season is over with. So we're going to talk about the tape. And if you are an Eagle fan today, this may be a better session for you guys because it's going to go over the back-breaking plays of what happened in this particular game. I'm not going to go back and forth and beat up all of the aficionados. We're going to go straight into the football mode. But I will allow someone else to do such. And since we are pressed for a little time, you guys just do me a huge favor. Hit the like and share this content. But before we go into detailings, since we are pressed, I always like to listen into some of these things that's been talked about. And let's listen to this part of it. Y'all know what I'm about to go. Y'all know where I'm about to go. And this right here, I know it's kind of like a reverse jinx type of thing because I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to jinx us a little bit. Stephen A. Smith say the Cowboys legit Super Bowl contenders. So that says super mode. See, I'm already off. But here we go.
He's asking the question whether or not the Cowboys are legitimate contenders. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because when I look at the talent that they have and how competitive they have the potential to be, I can't summarily dismiss that. I'm looking at their game against the Eagles. They should have won that game. They could have won that game. They didn't. I get it. But in the end, when you look at it, even though I anticipate that the Cowboys will lose, I anticipate that they will fold when it really, really counts. I can't escape the fact that with Dak, with this crew that they have, with Gallup, with CeeDee Lamb, with Micah Parsons and the crew on the defensive side of the ball, with a guy like Ferguson who's becoming more of a target.
Right.
I think the Cowboys, and you got to take into account how haphazard the NFC looks. I'd say they got a chance. You should label the Cowboys a contender for now.
All right. So my thing is, right quick, ladies and gentlemen, upon further review, I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen A. Smith, a Cowboys fan. Ferguson is a guy that the Cowboys must continue to target. I look at the way Pat Mahomes look at Travis Kelce. That is the way Dak Prescott need to see Ferguson. If we have to make this a 3-way football game, whether it's Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Ferguson, we got to do that. Tomorrow we're going to jump into some offensive film, but today is more so on the defensive side. But I'm telling you guys, Ferguson, we got something out of him. We do. If your team Ferg, man, let me know. Put 87 in the chat, baby. Let me see 87 all everywhere. I don't even wear jerseys, man. I might have to go find a Ferguson jersey, right? May have to give it away, though. But Ferguson, he's becoming more and more one of my favorite players on this particular team on the offensive side of the coin. The Cowboys just need to know what they got and utilize what they got. And Jake Ferguson could be that dude for real, for real. This is his second year, ladies and gentlemen. Second year. All right, let's listen to the hater side of it, because there's always a heel on this type of thing, because y'all know how this goes, ladies and gentlemen.
All I ask.
Come on, let's listen to what he said.
Why I disagree with you. When in the last decade have the Cowboys been devoid of talent? We've always said they've had the most talent in the NFL, the second most drafted Pro Bowl players since 2010.
Right.
But what do we always do? When it comes time to make it happen, they don't make it happen. See,
Without-
the Bible, God teaches us, says, look, if you have faith, I'll show you. Well, I'm a man. I'm not in the Bible. You need to show me and I'll have faith. When have the Cowboys shown you faith, that you can have faith in them, that they can go all the way to the top?
Well, hold on. Now, I know he want to throw the scripture in there, and shout out to the scriptures, you know. Yes, it's impossible to please God without faith, right? So we all know that. Put that to the side. But also faith without what? Works is dead. But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm not saying that you guys should have blind faith in the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not saying that. But dog it, if these boys just fix a few things, then you can start stacking some stuff together. To contextualize what he is saying, yes, we've been having talent over here. And some of it is lopsided because you are the America's team. You play on the most prime games. And then, of course, those are things that be more visible. A lot of people who casually watch football know more of the Cowboy players juxtaposed to other players because we are in that spotlight. But that can't take away from the fact that since Will McClay been here, we've been finding some gems. Have we hit on all of them? No. But the gems that we did hit on, we got to give kudos and credence to that. But one thing that I'm going to say before we move on from this topic, just because you have the talent, just because you can see that we have talent, if you didn't have the coaching staff, if you don't have that, it don't mean a hill of beans. And we've been talking about this for many of years. We are held to a different standard. We are. But I can guarantee you, it doesn't matter how much talent Chan Gailey had, he wouldn't have been able to coach a team to a Super Bowl. Dave Campo had, it doesn't mean that he would be able to coach a team to a Super Bowl. Bill Parcells was our strongest chance. And then we had that long stay with doggone Wade Phillips / Jason Garrett. No matter how much talent you can give those boys, it's just like me giving my daughter a Ferrari. She wouldn't know what to do with it. She definitely wouldn't know what to do with it at the age of 7. Some of you guys that's watching this show right now, if I give you a stick shift, y'all wouldn't know what to do with it because y'all so used to driving automatic. So what I'm saying here is this particular coaching staff, even with the shortcomings that we have, even with clock management, God dog, this coaching staff is a whole lot better than what we previously had. Whole lot better. Dan Quinn got some flaws on his defense, but nobody's banging on the table and said, you know what? Things were better. They were flat out better. When we had the previous defensive coordinator, no. Rob Marinelli, no, y'all wouldn't want that. And I don't see a strong campaign saying, hey, bring Jason Garrett back. No. All right, so let's listen to my guy over here, Patrick No C Walker. He was on 105.3 The Fan. He's going to go into details, and then we're going to pull up the film, and then we're going to move this show on from here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like, share this content.
Patrick Walker at Voice of the Star on Twitter from DallasCowboys.com joins us every single Tuesday and Thursday. It's brought to you by the WinStar World Casino and Resort, proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. Patrick, I saw someone tweet you, thanks for keeping it real, officials, handful of plays in the game. How did you keep it real on Cowboys Break in regards to the Philly game?
Well, Sean, it's one of those things where obviously the officiating crew in the NFL, just like
he said it, I didn't say
in any other sports league, they're human. They're not infallible. And that said, though, there is obviously improvement that can be made, and I just feel like there's a blind eye being turned to it, and has been for several years. And I know a lot of us can at least agree to that much. But for the majority of this season, I've not said much about the officials or controversial calls, because I'm like, hey, okay, that's going to happen. What can you do? But when you see what you saw in Philadelphia, and I saw it in both ways, in both directions, there were some plays, some flags, and no calls that went in, the favor of the Cowboys. But for the most part, when you look at the timeliness of when the flags were thrown against the Cowboys and the timeliness of some of those no calls, it simply cannot happen. This was a matchup between the two best teams in the NFC East, two of the top three teams in the NFC. Let the game be decided by the players on the field, not because you threw a flag for an obvious illegal hands to the face from Bradbury and Michael Gallup, and then
Appreciate
you chose to
Cisco.
pick up the flag, which was on one of the impact plays, because that was a Jalen Carter sack after Tyler Smith had basically negated Jalen Carter for the majority of the game. And then you look at the DPI call on Stephon Gilmore, which extends the drive for the Eagles on an uncatchable ball, and then the Eagles go down and score, and so forth and so on. Look at one of the first targets to CeeDee Lamb. He gets outright held coming out of his break, a two-hand hold right in front of the sideline official, no flag thrown. Those types of things just simply cannot happen. Roughing the passer call on one of the sacks on Dak Prescott late in the game, where the second defender came in and made contact to Dak Prescott's head. So for those that are listening with only one ear, they're going to take away from this. They're going to say, oh, well, with only one ear, they're going to take away from this. They're going to say, oh, well, no C is saying the officials are the reason the Cowboys lost. No, those listening with two ears will hear what I'm actually saying, is that the officials were also the reason that the Cowboys lost. Not the only reason, but they definitely played a part in the game, and that cannot happen at the professional level.
Why do you think they picked up the flag on the Gallup Jalen Carter sack play?
When you find that out, let me know, and also let me know where the rest of the Dead Sea Scrolls are located. The Cowboys, I asked Mike McCarthy about it. He said he wasn't given an explanation. I asked Mike one yesterday about it. I asked some of the players about it. They said they were not given an explanation. It was simply that the flag was thrown for the infraction, a very obvious infraction. And then as we all saw, the flag was then picked up, but no explanation whatsoever was given to the Cowboys. And that just lends to my point. If you're going to pick that flag up, there needs to be an explanation. Even if the explanation doesn't make sense, at least give it a shot. But to pick that up on a play like that and not have the wherewithal to look over to the head coach, the players on the field, look at Michael Gallup, someone, and say, well, this is why we decided to pick it up. It's unexplainable as far as why they didn't do that. And it's unexplainable why they picked up the flag in the first place. But again, it was just a poorly officiated game, and it sucks that we have to sit here and talk about it in the aspect of, once again, in the NFL, the officials made themselves a headline. Again, not the only reason the Cowboys lost, but it certainly didn't help.
So with that being said, man, hear that man out, and that's Patrick No C Walker. We're going to look into some film ourselves, but I would say this, ladies and gentlemen, he looking for answers, man. He looking for answers on the flag that was absolutely called but then picked up. So that's all he's saying. So if y'all have any response to that, then can you address it with Patrick No C Walker? And I believe he was right on the money with his analogy and his thought tracks for all of that. But before we open up the film, we just going to touch a little bit on Martavis Bryant. This is from 105.3 The Fan as well. This is Patrick No C Walker. You guys can hear him on the Cowboys.com as well as 105.3 The Fan. And also my brother from another mother, A to Z Sports Dallas. He goes on a weekly show with them. So, and that's Scott Walker Steele. So let's listen to this part of it for Martavis Bryant.
Patrick, when you look at the decision to bring in Martavis Bryant.
All right, let me go right
decision
here.
to bring in Patrick, when you look at the decision to bring in Martavis Bryant today, for what should we take from that? Is that any sort of an indictment on Tolbert, Gallup, or is that more just about, hey, let's try and buy low on something here and take advantage of something?
I think it's the latter. I've swirled that around in my head for a couple of days now, trying to find the definitive line on what the goal is with Martavis Bryant. I mean, this is a guy who's been out of the league several years and, had a rough patch in the CFL as well with Toronto and not reporting the camp. And hopefully he's got everything mindset-wise, ready to go this time around because he's likely going to get an opportunity here with the Cowboys. But I just feel like it's a flyer that won't cost him much. I mean, they're not signing him to the active roster. If that, deal gets finalized, it'll be to the practice squad, add a little bit more depth.
Let me pause it right here. He said the deal should be finalized. So there's some inside information here. So technically, I think that they would not allow Martavis Bryant to go on the plane, to get on the plane to go to Tennessee, from my understanding. So he may be signed either today before 3 o'clock, or he may be signed tomorrow before 3 o'clock, depending on all of the information that Pat No-Seek Walker is saying. Or unless he may say, hey, I don't like the deal. Let me see what Tennessee is talking about. I would say here, 6'4", runs a 4.4 40. Is he a guy? Can he catch? That's what we gonna ask. Can he catch, dog? Can he catch better than doggone Michael Gallup? That's what we need to be answering, looking for, basically. But neither here nor there. Let's listen to more what he had to say.
But I don't think it's an indictment to the Gallup-Tolbert situation. I think while Gallup absolutely needs to bring in that ball across the middle, that's inexcusable, and he'll say that as well. Fought back later in that game. You saw why his skill set is invaluable as far as strong, violent hands in contested catches. He can bring those down. He can draw penalties that'll work in your favor. Jalen Tolbert saw what he can do with his touchdown as well. So I think those two guys, and however rotation you want to put them, I would like to see more snaps to Tolbert, but different conversation. But I think they're fine there.
Get Tolbert some looks.
Who's very promising, who was one of the standouts in training camp in Oxnard this past summer. He's on the practice squad as well. I just feel like the Martavis Bryant thing is, let's try to add, one more depth piece at the receiver position for the back end of the season. And if it doesn't work out, what did it cost us? But if it works out, then hey, we have a viable guy who can step in the event of injury.
Patrick, excellent stuff as always.
No doubt. Great observation from Patrick No-Seek Walker. No-Seek, y'all be sure to check him out. I don't think he do a good job at all. He don't. Y'all let him know, man. Law said that he don't do a good job at all. Tell him that, Tell him I said it, He do a great job, though. He don't do a good job. He do a great job at what he do. And y'all be sure to let him know I said it. What he gonna do about it, But neither here nor there. Shout out to you, Kenyatta. Appreciate you. I see you on the Facebook. Shout out to you, Cisco Oliver, man, for the 500 stars. He says, what's good? Appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you guys. And keep the engagement up. Hit the like button. Share this content. All right, so if you are a Eagles fan right now, this may pleases you. It just may make you happy. But if you are a Cowboy fan, this may make you mad. This may make you upset at everything. But we're going to look at some film action right here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm going to let this play out, and then we'll go over some things that I've seen that we need to work on and to improve on. Keep in mind, Monday, Tuesdays, we talk about the previous game. In a little Wednesday, I got to give you guys some more information about this game, Cowboys versus Eagles, due to time. But a little later on tonight, my fellows over here on the Final Word, we'll be going into more and more details. And, of course, the next upcoming game will be versus the doggone New York Giants, right? Yeah, so we play those guys. So, all right, so let's listen to this film and let's go. These are some of the back-breaking plays that the Cowboys were subject to in this game. And, of course, if you are an Eagle fan, this is good film for you, bad film for us. And if you look back at it, you got to have blocks up front. Jalen Hurts right here, he's going to do the Steph Curry because he already know that we overcommit. We're going to have a guy here to to squeeze down this way and not being able to get a head on a head. We got two guys here that's not going to be involved at all on this play, and he got the blocks up front, and he does the Steph Curry right here because he already know that that's a score. Cowboy Nation, we get hit with the eye candy in this game, the manipulations of the front and the threat of the run, and also the short game is where the Eagles killed us at in this particular situation here. Shout out to the Eagles for drawing this up, but we got to block our guys up front, and we got to take away the eye candy. We got to figure this out, especially down inside the red zone here. 14 is too far inside, and he's not able to get to the edge. He get washed out, as well as 95 off of that play. Now, off of this one, of course, we're looking at coverage responsibilities. We talked about this with Jordan Lewis. I'm also going to talk about the guy underneath. Number one in this particular fashion. Hey, I know he don't have eyes behind his head, but he got to pay attention to the eyes of the quarterback. And we can see where the progression's at with this particular look right here. If we look all the way back at this particular play, of course, we want Jordan Lewis to squeeze down better inside, but the progressions, everything flowing, and I get it. He don't have eyes behind his head, but you got to understand that if you're going to bracket, you're going to have to squeeze down inside. But he got his eyes on the quarterback, and he is the guy to spy. And on top of that, that is a good throw by Jalen Hurts to get that ball in there. So, of course, we want Jordan Lewis to be a little bit more sticky on this particular play. Nevertheless, Hurts is able to hurt us with this particular one here. And he got a good pocket to throw in. No pressure there. So, Cowboys, we're going to have to clear this up, especially when we have Jordan Lewis out in space and he's supposed to have help underneath, I believe, with one. And it's just not a good look for us. And that was a pivotal down drive extender for the Philadelphia Eagles. They motioned zero across, and he gets multiple yards here. This pretty much right here is when you're not able to run inside. I would like for us to take this play. This is 20. I had to stop it right here. This is my observation right here. Pay attention to Jordan Lewis, man. He to me, he's going to have to step his game up with some efforts, man. He's giving me Xavier Woods vibes of not playing up to 100% of the time. But let's go. Only one personnel. They got both of their running backs, and they scoop it around for zero to get there. And it's just a great play drawn out for the Philadelphia Eagles here. They were not successful running the ball up A gap or B gap, so let's extend it on the C's over here, and they are able to get the blocks up front to get their running back going. And that's what we are able to see and identify off of this particular play. We'll pause it one more time, y'all. We're going to have to steal this play. And if you're going to have to steal this play because they were not getting the ball going for their running backs. So what they did was they went into a 21 personnel look, and that's putting Swift inside the slot and then moving him around so that he can get the ball on the edge. We going to have to do that. I can see packages with Tony Pollard and Rico in the backfield or even on the same field at the same time and keeping Jake Ferguson out there with your two wideouts. We going to have to take some of this stuff and control. Copy-paste it? We had to copy-paste some of this stuff, y'all, for zero to get there. And it's just a great play drawn out for the Philadelphia Eagles here. They were not successful running the ball up A gap or B gap, so let's extend it on the C's over here, and they are able to get the blocks up front to get their running back going. And that's what we are able to see and identify off of this particular play. Hey, Cowboys, if you're not able to get yards, why not use it on the edge yourself? So I hope we copy-paste that particular play here. Keep in mind, this play right here, a casualty of miscommunication. Finding their soft spot in the area there to the flat. Why did this play exist? Well, I got one again. He gets loss of communication here. He is the linebacker. He's responsible for zero here. And I get it. There's no way that you can help one of these guys here. Everybody else is locked up, and we got a safety help over the top. Your man is here. He's wide open, and he get his eyes caught somewhere in the backfield, and I don't know where he's trying to go. But if this is man-to-man, if this is any of those things, you got to make sure where your running back is at, and he's wide open. And Hurts going through his progressions. Remember, it's touchdown to check down the West Coast offense. And, hey, he looks through everything, and then, hey, he looks down to his check down read, and he's wide the world open. That's Hurts guy right here, and that's J-Rock guy right there. So he's so wide open here. He can just throw it down, but, hey, he waits till he get to the edge there, and he's able to get that first down there. Pivotal down because they score off of that particular drive and the drive extenders. We got to pay attention to this, ladies and gentlemen. You can't leave your man that wide open. So your coverage ability and responsibility, you got to figure out ways to make sure you correct this the next time you play those boys. There was no reason for J-Ron Curse to go into the middle of the field to leave zero wide open there. I'm a little worried about J-Ron in coverage, and he just need to step that up, in my opinion, looking back at some of this film. All right, so this was a backbreaker right here. Hey, stutter go, take the top off of it, and my guy Deron Bland gets beat real badly off of this play. No safety help over the top. That's a good ball by Hurts, and that was the straw that really broke the camel back a little bit off of that one for them to open up in the third quarter to be able to get that score right there. That was everything for them. All right, so here's a 2-by-1. Then you got the running back on the right hip of the quarterback here, and he does a hard count, drops back. My guy Bland does a better job of playing boundary technique, squeezing him out onto the edge here. After that touchdown that was allowed by Bland, he did step it up in this particular fashion. However, the damage is already done. Now, this was the drive that he scored on. I would say here, I'm not going to try to dive deep into the flags of this particular game, but we got to use this one for context. This right here, the Cowboys pretty much locked in and got everything settled, but this play right here extended this drive, and they were able to get a first down off of it. The pass was uncatchable. The flag comes out late. I would say that the aficionados, they should have at least let these boys play off of this. I'm not saying that that's the reason why the Cowboys lost, but for sure, I can tell you that's the reason why the Eagles were able to score off of this particular drive. That play extended them, and now we're looking at this one right here. They try to go deep. Bland is in great coverage right here, and we got the squeeze down from underneath with Stephon Gilmore. I do like seeing that. Great coverage by Stephon, and we were able to take away that YOLO ball. So I do like Hurts being able to at least throw this ball deep, make the defense play honest, and he will at least give you one or two of these a game, which is a good way to keep the defense honest. And I wish that our team would at least attack it deep when your number one wide receiver is stagnant, and they were able to do that. Now, this play is on 14. He climbed down inside a little too much, and he able to stop this play right here, but I would not count this as a dirty play. I know some of the Eagles are reporting that this was a dirty play, but this was a great concept, by the way. When you look back at everything, they wanted to get Goddard going, and what you do, you throw underneath routes. You play the tendencies of the Cowboys' aggressions against them. And we see 14, he climbs a little down too much inside. 11 is the spot for the quarterback on the read option play here. And, hey, right now, if he's even, he's leaving. And, of course, at this point, Goddard got to step on him, and my guy 14 have nothing to do but to try to make ground. And he does the stiff form. We hope all is well with Dallas Goddard. But I just think that was a hustle play, and my guy 14 with just two down inside. We wish that we were able to get this back. Now, pay attention. Now they are in the red zone, money zone, green zone. They have the threat of the run. They're going to do run, and this run play is set up for the touchdown play. keep in mind, you show aggressions, you put that out there, and you try to attack the middle, but this is just to set up for the play that you guys are about to see. The really last time that they score, it was really in this third quarter right here, and the Cowboys defense were able to shut them out in the fourth quarter. But you see number 11 in the backfield here. Hey, we still thinking about stopping the run, and 33 get caught up into a blender. Now, my only thing is right here, I know this is new age football, but I want the linebackers to understand, if the receivers in the backfield blow them up, you have every chance and opportunity to blow them up. I know that you want to spy Jalen Hurts right here, but you have a shot to blow him up, but he's going to give him a free release, and he's going to be free. There's nothing you can do at this point, especially at momentum. A.J. Brown, and you got two guys right here. They would not be able to stop this dude. He's just a dump truck right there, and good play design altogether on getting your guys out in space. The Eagles in this particular game, if you look back at everything, they came with a plan. They came with a mindset to, hey, I'm going to give you eye candy. We're going to get our guys involved on the outside. And they were able to utilize both running backs here and there. And on top of that, they were not afraid to attack deep in this particular game. Although the score was 28-23 at the end, the Cowboys did rally to get back. We just going to have to clear up some things on defense. And then the next video, we're going to talk about some of the offense here. In order for the Cowboys to correct all of these things, they're going to have to look at this tape and look into the mirror and see what they can do better down the stretch. Post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Yes, indeed. Appreciate everybody who was able to see through that. I always like to give you guys some footages live and go over some things all together for my live audience. And that video, the HD version, will be uploaded a little later on today so that you guys can comb through and pause and rewind and look at a few things. I do know that, in a game and a loss, we want to look at it and move off from it. From my observation, looking at the All-22, my guy, J-Ron Kearse, I do like J-Ron Kearse coming down to hit and field, but in coverage, I think that not just Jordan Lewis. We talk about so much about Jordan Lewis in coverage, but we're going to have to get better with number one in coverage. It could be that number, man. Hey, J-Rock, can you what jersey number did he wore last year? Was it 27? Can you put 27 back on, bro? But this year he's been close but no cigar. When I think of it, I play this closer than close. He's been really that dude that's been really close but no cigar. Where you go?
They can come closer than close.
He's been close but no cigar guy. So I don't know whether or not I would feel better if they release some information that he's a little nicked up a little bit, right? Because he's stiff. He's a very stiff guy. And to me personally, he's a liability in coverage. And I get it. Some communication may be a situation there. I do like him playing close down inside the box. I think that he don't open his hips up quick enough for me. And that's a liability to me. Jordan Lewis, it appears to me, and I'm not beating him up either, but it just seems like he's not hungry enough on defense. And of course we got our issues on offense, but I'm talking about, come on, secondary, you're going to have to correct that. And I know we got some guys that's hungry. I know we got some guys that can get out there and make some plays, but they can't make a play sitting there watching on the bench. We got to get some of those guys that's hungry, y'all, to get out there. And I truly believe that the Dallas Cowboys, and this is not time to have knee-jerk reactions, but when they look at the tape, there should be somebody like Coach need to have spit coming out their mouth saying, hey, we got to get this communication thing fixed. We can't be giving up. Like, I get it. You know, some of those calls are subjective, like PI calls, holding calls. Those are subjective calls. But miscommunications, that's on coaching and on the players. Offsides, that's on the players. Because no coach can tell you, hey, you should be lining up X, Y, and Z. You should see where the ball is at and get your butt on the right side, you know? So encroachment, that's on the offense, but that's on the player, right? Those are things that are not even coach's fault. Matt Leslie, appreciate you. He says, oh, they all need Diggs out there, Law. Yeah, we will agree with that. You know, we will agree with that. Maybe, just maybe, we see the value of Diggs so much because some of the mistakes that we may have, he would put a Band-Aid over it. And what we are missing ultimately is some of that speed aspect that we normally get from the slot spot. We missing that. I don't know what Jordan Lewis run, but I can guarantee you looking at film, I don't see 4.5 speed. I'm looking at more of like a 4.6, 4.7 speed guy, a guy that's slow to open up his hips or what have you. I don't see a guy that's like in the middle of the field. I don't see speed. My guy Bell, he got speed. He don't have size. So we are losing out on speed by having Curse and Lewis out there. We don't have that speed. So hopefully watch next game at home. Those boys are going to be a whole lot faster. But shoot, on the road, they look slow. Glenn Capers, man, appreciate you so much for the first super chat of the day. I thank you so much. Man-to-man defense kill our run defense. Teams are using motion, eye candy, right, to get favorable numbers, right? I love it. I love it. Sometimes zone defense is better against heavy motion plays. You are right. You are right. Like the touchdown, that was a big boy throw by Jalen Hurts. And of course, I said my guy Bland was badly beat. I read some of y'all comments like, you can't defend a perfect ball, right? And if anybody can look back at that, that was a perfect placed ball. And how did they earn that? Ladies and gentlemen, how did they earn that spot? How did they earn a single high look on the wide receivers on both sides and the safety over the top? They earn it by running the ball. See, that's football 101. We don't get those type of looks, whereas we see one-on-ones to the outside with the single high safety and enough time for the quarterback to climb the pocket. Why? Because there's no threat of the run. So many times, I'm hearing so many times, yes, we got to block it up front better. Yes, Tony Pollard can run. Even if Tony Pollard could run, right? Teams are going to play. There's enough tape out there, ladies and gentlemen. Football 101 is enough tape out there for us to play the tendencies on defense. Defense can look at the tendencies and they would say to themselves, hey, this dude is only going to run it for 13 to 14 attempts. And if he gash us with a few plays, I will live with that. But in actuality, I trust my linebackers and my front four to create some type of damage, and we are not finna allow Dak Prescott to have the deeper throw over the top. We're not finna give him that. And if he get those plays, damn it, he earned those. Why? Because there's no threat of the run. Well, we can't block up front. That's not the Eagles' fault. That's not their fault. So that's why you're going to see more and more teams going to play their quarters defense. More and more teams going to play two high safeties. More and more teams are going to say, hey, Dak, if you beat us, hey, you're going to have to earn every one of those throws because we want you guys to run the ball. All these mosquitoes bad out here. That's how those hits are when Tony Pollard lower the helmet or try to be finesse on showing physicality down inside when he cut back inside. It's just little mosquitoes. So, and Terrence Steele, he's also is not having his best moments this year. 12 pressures last game. He allowed 12 pressures. That's coaching. There's no way you go into a game and you see the pressure that's allowed right there, and you don't look Tony Pollard or the running backs in their eyes or the tight end and say, hey, chip, then release. There's a responsibility that we must have. There's a duty that we must have, and that's keeping your quarterback upright. I can't have the quarterback running for his life. And then we can't be combing through all of those things, because if you look at the numbers and you say, hey, he is able to throw still for 100 passer rating, whatever it was, or over 100 passer rating, still get you completions. But that's off of the heels of him running for his life. Get the man some protection. Can't be wrong all day. Put some protection out there. That final drive, I can't wait to break that final drive down to you guys. But you got to give him protection, Mike McCarthy. You got to. You can't just say, okay, well, hey, we got all the way here, because that's how you fight back into a game and you spill it all over the doggone table at the end. Coaches need to understand that, regardless of it. Dak Prescott need to understand that too, by the way. Yes, Trey, shout out to you. Coming off of an ACL, going against his son, we're going to pile on Steele. No. We're not going to pile on him. But constructive criticism is a thing. The Eagles, the Rams, the Chargers, the Niners, Cardinals, the Jets, the Giants. They had their way with Terrence Steele. Maybe one game you give him that, but when it's more than one, when it's on 3 games, then you sitting there saying, hey, there's a problem. And news flash, and I'm not pointing this at you, Trey. The opposing teams, they don't care. They don't care. They're not finna give us a cushion, because we decided to put a guy that's coming off of an ACL tear and put him out there on the field, gave him $91 million. They're not finna care about that. They're trying to win the game. So everything is liable. Everything is valuable right there at that time. That's just what teams would do. Branday, thank you for your super chat. Anybody got a right tackle we can borrow? Yeah, that is true. And to be fair, Terrence Steele, he's looking at it like, shoot, I'm getting paid some money too. I'm not out here for free. So that's just how it goes, unfortunately. It need to be a situation whereas everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And like I said, even if we throw context in, nobody cared last year. Noah Brown had a good game last game. But that doesn't mean that Noah Brown going to go to the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? From last game. You know, we're going to have to look at consistency, and I'm talking about Noah Brown for the Texans. But nobody cared last year that we had Noah Brown throwing the ball to him. Nobody cared last year that we elevated T.Y. Hilton. Nobody cared that Tony Pollard got hurt in that playoff game. Because this is what football is about. Nobody cared. Look, for example, when the Eagles lost that Super Bowl, and when the stat line came out that teams that lose Super Bowl, they have a harder chance of making it back to the playoffs, and they tend to have a harder or difficult schedule. And then on top of that, when they lost CJ before the kickoff of the season, when they lost because he went off to another team, what have you, and they lost their running back, nobody cared. So what they do, they picked up the phone. They called Swift. They pick up the phone. They call some players. Because there are two ways you can look at it, and I'm not pumping up the Eagles for crying out loud. There's two ways that they can either waddle around and say, hey, man, we made it to the Super Bowl, we lost, but we can, hey, bring it back and try to run it back with the same guys. Oh, these guys are losing out. Or we can just say, okay, it can be Kenneth Gainwell now. Let's pay Kenneth Gainwell. Let him be our starter running back. He has earned that spot now. Let's not worry about Penny. Let's not worry about going into this particular offseason and bringing up DeAndre Swift. And we're going to see what we can do at running back with him. And then they start losing. Then people say, hey, man, these are excuses. They made sure that they cover up that part and made the business decisions to pick up the phone to bring people in. But we on the other end, and this is me just being real with y'all, we like our guys. We okay. We are okay with what we got. We can organically be better. There's nothing wrong with Michael Gallup in this particular year. There's nothing wrong with Terrence Steele. He's going to give us the same results that he had before the injury. He's going to play up to the status quo that he was before the injury. Why? We paid him. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Tony Pollard. He's going to play up to the $11 million that we're giving him. There's nothing wrong with our team. We like our guys. There's nothing wrong with Jordan Lewis. He was hurt last year. He's okay now. But Wanye, no, we paid him. He's on his last year of his contract. Wanye, he was an undrafted guy. Nobody cares. So when we win, everybody is happy. Hey, let's pump up this thing. We don't need this. We just need to do X, Y, and Z to capitalize, and we can win games. But now that we're losing, or now that we lost the game, now all of a sudden, hey, we could have, should have, would have. And we can't have it both ways. That's all I'm trying to say. And I know people are going to send me hate mail for speaking the truth. But that is the difference between someone who tell you what you need versus someone tell you what you want, you know. All right, so speaking of that, I got some audio. Salute to John Machota. He got a chance to talk to Dak Prescott, and we're gonna listen to him, and we're gonna listen to. Let's see if I can pull this audio right quick.
After the game, we've got to get better to find a way to gain those inches on a few plays, and tough. I mean, I step out of bounds, that's an inch, right? Probably should have dove for the pylon just earlier before I straddled the sideline. We'll get better on the route to Schoonmaker. We'll make that work next time. You know what I mean? So there's things that you take from a game like that you learn, but at this point about proving, we prove this, we prove that. We know who we are, and we know that we can play, and we know that we have what it's going to take, but we've just got to go do it. And a game like that, when it's so close, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It hurts. It hurts today just the same as it did after the game. And you're just really ready to start your process on New York to take those things from last game and move forward. But yeah, nothing fun about losing. Not a lot of, as I said, no moral victories in this thing at all. And ready and hungry to get back to work.
He boy said he ready and hungry to get back to work, and he's speaking good truth. Say here, football is a game of inches. Here's what, and I'm gonna say this until I'm Cowboys blue in the face. You don't win the Super Bowl in Week 9. You don't win the Super Bowl in Week 5 nor Week 3. What the regular season's supposed to do is get you ready for the postseason. And what I'm looking at, and if we can all look at things from the Cowboys lenses, we need to be fighting for a home game. We need to be fighting for a home game. Now, if we would have won this past game, then we can live off of some emotional high, and we can talk about how much we are better than the Eagles and slap them around and talk about, hey, look at Monty, look at the girl who can't spell Eagles and all of this stuff. Hell, I was ready for that. I was ready to play that soundbite. Hell, I still might want to. Look, let me play. Look, what she said. They looking great. Come on.
We're looking great. Go Birds. Let's go Birds. ELGS.
I can still laugh at him. Yeah. I was ready. To play that clip. I was going to play it for like 24 hours straight. Nevertheless, I've seen these type of things happen before. Whereas in 2007, did we sweep the Eagles that year or something like that? We probably split with those boys, but we were clear by far the best team in 2007. Played against the Giants, smacked them around all over the field. Clearly the best team. Got to the playoff time, and then, hey.
They can come closer than close.
Didn't mean a hill of beans. And the one Super Bowl that Mike McCarthy was able to lift up as a head coach, guess what? We looking better than that team at this point. We looking dog sure better than that team. They had to sneak into the doggone playoffs. The one year that he went, I think, 15-1, they got knocked out, one and done. The first game that they played, although they had home field advantage throughout the doggone playoffs. So my thing is, it's all about, can you get this team to rally together to understand from their mistakes? And some of y'all, it's going to go into one ear, out the other, over the head, and say, hey, the Cowboys are 5-3 right now. Feels like 3-5. We trash. We ain't going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. The football season is long, and just like what my guy Brian Broader said, it's a strange lady. It's a lady with hairy legs with one eye, bro, and missing teeth, with no edges. I don't know. She's strange, but she still gets your attention every year. So what I'm trying to tell y'all right now, don't bury your head in the sands. And whatever happened previously with the Dallas Cowboys, with that way of Shay Sharp thinking, that's not real analysis there. This team is by far different. We respond. Watch what we do against the Giants. Watch what we do. And I'm not saying we're overlooking the Giants, by the way. This offense is finally is waking up. And if this dude right here, Dak Prescott, if he's breaking it down like, man, game is full of inches, maybe if I could have do X, Y, and Z, they will figure out things the best way possible. And this is Dak Prescott on Wearing the Pin. I want to just play this right quick. Shout out to John Machota.
Yeah, it's special. Talking about the picture, I think that was a moment, different times, different situations, things hit you. And then seeing my picture on the wall, along with Roger, Troy, and Witt, was special. And then just every time I throw on this lapel, it's not anything that I take for granted. It goes back, and as I've said before, my mom gave me a calling and a mission, you know what I mean? To all greats have a story, allow me to be your story. And I think just what I've been able to do as an athlete, and then using that platform off the field to be able to impact others is why, as I told y'all, it's exciting to be able to come speak to the youth, because I know what that's moving forward. At the end of the day, I'm doing what my mom asked me to do. And so it's a blessing. I'm humbled, something I don't take for granted, whether it's the practice jersey, whether it's the lapel, whether it's walking by the training table and seeing myself up there with those other guys who have done things the right way.
Well, hey, outside of Jason Witten, those other guys got hardware. So, hey, continue to fight and continue to live through the division that your mom's had for you or seen in you, and continue to be that guy that stacked good things on top of good things. You just never know. Some people say, hey, man, one can't change a lot. Shoot, one person can change plenty. One person can change plenty. And if he continued to go down that pathway, I mean, the world, the world would just be his entree, right? He'd be to eat upon a lot of things. All right, I got Dak Prescott. He's talking about Terrence Steele. Shout out to John Machota for catching these wonderful clips And matter of fact, let me see if I can share it over here on my YouTube. Appreciate everybody on YouTube. Let's go from here. Let's go. Click here. Click here. Here you go. I'll put click here for John Machota's YouTube page. Not YouTube page, but Facebook page. Let's listen to what he's saying even about Terrence Steele.
Yeah, I mean, Terrence would be the first to tell you he wants to play better, and I know he's going to play better. He's a guy that has faced this adversity before. You talk about early in his career when he came in, undrafted free agent, and he had to step in and play for guys immediately, and didn't have success, or maybe didn't play to his standards early, and then got it going, and then had some great years under him. That he's not going to allow one game to put him down in the dump, and he's not going to allow one game to dictate the way that he plays the rest of the season. And I think just something that we'll talk about is trusting in each other. Obviously, I'm using my feet, I'm getting out of the pocket. Use your athleticism, and he'll do that as we move forward, and things will be fun.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. And trust goes two ways and both ways, ladies and gentlemen. Even though he have the maximum trust in Terrence Steele, but the reality of it, he ain't playing good this year. So we got to relinquish some of that trust. Get you a back there that can chip on that side, chip to release. Funnel it. Sometimes you can use your weakness as your strength. Sometimes you can use your weakness as your strength, and the Cowboys need to capitalize off of that. So right now, if everybody looking at Terrence Steele as the weakest link on that front five right now, use it as your strength. There is a thing called trap blocks. There are things that you can utilize and give them an illusion. I do love this movie. I always say, Gladiator. Where is that? Where my guy at? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
One of the overseers of the bad guy, one of those guys that give the advice, and he was talking about there's a certain sea snake that lies in the bottom of the sea that he picks on his own self to appear that he's in damage, to appear that he's weakened. So as soon as the fish sees that sea snake who's appearing to be damaged, they nibble off of him. And the sea snake is wise enough to allow the fish to feed of him just a little bit. Just a little bit, just to nibble on him just a little bit. Get one little peck, get two little pecks, and then before the third peck, he strikes. And that was the whole ideology of them,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Trying to fight the the guy at the end. He trying to fight him because of the fact that he already was wounded, and he trying to paint the story. But neither here nor there. If Terrence Steele is the weakest guy on your offensive line for right now, due to the fact that he's recovering, then the Cowboys need to game plan around that. The Eagles, on their first two scoring drive, I believe, they smashed it in there with the tush push play, right? So on the third strike, they gave the same looks. They said, okay, they inside. They're going to try to attempt, or the fourth strike, whatever strike it was, they're going to show you that they're going to attempt to run inside, but hey, hit them with the okie doke. Number 11, peel them out to the edge. It's all about the illusion. It's all about manipulating these type of things so that you can get what you want. That's what you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. All right, still needs to sit out and heal. 24, Bear 24. I see what you said, but I don't think that he's playing bad, but not to the degree that you want to see someone else out there outside of Chuma Edoga. Who else we want to see out there at right tackle? Who else? Is Joshua Ball still on his team? Oh my goodness, Daryl. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you so much for your support. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hey, still going to have to see this thing all the way through, y'all. Yes, indeed. You're going to have to let him see it through because some of the things that we wanting to do, you would have had to did it before the doggone trade deadline or during the draft. You would have to do some of those things earlier, unfortunately. So when you wait, and there's no time to, there's no other move that we can make to improve this team but from within or at the bottom of the barrel bringing up Martavis Bryant, right? We could have changed a few things. If this team, and I'm going to say this, let me read this super chat from my guy, though. Let me read the super chat first. Shout out to you, Jay Versick. Do you think Dak trusts his guys too much? Example, throwing to Gallup or Schoonmaker in critical situation when it should be CD, Cooks, and Ferg. I'll give you one of these, man. I wonder if I can pin that to the top. Can I pin it? They don't let me pin the super chats. But say that again, Jay Versick, and I'll figure out a way to pin that message to the top. You just got to give it to your hot hands. I think that the nature of spreading the ball all around shouldn't be the deal there. CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks. And if you want to look at from a receiving situation, this is my order. I did a video this morning. CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, maybe Kevontae Turpin. Then there's Michael Gallup. I don't know what's going on with MG13. I don't know what's going on. He can look, MG13 can ball out next week. I for sure gonna still have my reservation. He gonna have to give me 3 games before I trust that man. No. 3 games. Yeah. He gonna have to give me 3 solid games before I trust him. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, Anton. Appreciate you. And that's why it goes both ways. It goes both ways, y'all. Regardless of what Dak Prescott do, some people, before they can trust him as the quarterback, they sitting there saying, hey, he got to at least get the team to the Super Bowl before they can even trust him. Some people don't trust Dak. That's just what it is. I read the comments. Some people, Dak Prescott could have won this game. He could have threw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. There would have been some people that would still hit me up and be like, hey, I still don't, I need to see it in the playoffs though, Some people going to be like Doubting Thomas. I got to feel the holes in the hands. I got to feel everything. I got to make sure that's really him. That's just how it goes, man. Jalen Brooks, then Cooks. Oh, wow. Press says he don't trust nobody, man. I'm telling y'all who don't trust, man. I ain't going to say his name out loud, but I'm just going to pull up a picture. Hey, this is the guy y'all need to don't trust, you know what I'm saying? I just can't trust him, man. I can't trust that dude right there, man. I can't trust him. I can't trust him. Hey, I'm going to put my guy Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor, A year go by, 2 years go by, The perfect time, I'm telling y'all, man, the perfect time to put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor was in 2021, the Centennial game. I believe that is a weird look. Y'all can leave for those who don't like, talking about curses and things like that, But that was the perfect time. I believe the whole nature of that game, when we got our heads smashed in that game in 2021 against the Denver Broncos, right? Home game, everything was good. Matter of fact, even on the first few series, we had the ball 3 times, made it to our side of the field. We should have made that game. I promise the outcome of the game would have been different. This is the dude y'all don't shit. I ain't gonna say his name though, y'all. But I can't trust it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed, baby. I mean, come on, put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor, man. I'll feel better, man, But that's the last thing right there, ladies and gentlemen. Mike says Eagle fans don't realize Eagles barely won, with the refs in their pockets and their own home game, The Eagles won. I'm not going to say fair and square, but the Eagles won that game. And that's a W for them. They 8-1. They should be enjoying their mini bye, what have you. It's always feeling good to win going into a bye. I know that they are worried about Goddard being hurt, but now they finna go into the teeth of their schedule now, and it's going to be rough for them, And we will see how things play out in the second half of the year. Keep in mind, even the great Bill Parcells says, "Hey, we'll judge this team." We would judge this team by Thanksgiving, and we got a few time before Thanksgiving get here. So it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We will see more about this team around Thanksgiving. But what I'm trying to do with this team is to snap out whatever they need to snap out of. All of the favoritism, snap up out of it, If Wanye is the better player, man, put him out there. Let's utilize some of these things. Let's go through coaching. Some of the mistakes that we saw in this game on the defensive side, we need to erase that. We allowed 28 points last game. We need to clear that up and clean that up. I know penalties was a very, very, very thing that we can go over, but some of the things we got to work on, I meant to say. Yep, get to 9-3, yes, and grow. Yeah, I mean, we can flat out get there. But the Cowboys, they need to make it 1-0 every single week. 1-0 every single week. They shouldn't even know who they're going to have to play after the Giants. They should be all focused in on the Giants. Yes, indeed. So let's do this. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I know I didn't get a chance yesterday. I got a real busy schedule today. I know I didn't get a chance yesterday to talk to you guys. So call my phone, hit my line. Hit me up. Brought to you by Prize Picks. Let's get it. Let's go. 657-390-7391. Come on. Do me a huge favor. Hit the like. Share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. 657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. Let's go. Call my phone, hit my line. I got the mighty on the line. Coach Marr from the 803. You're live on the Nation. Brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix, Coach. Coach Marr. Glenn Law, you're live on the Nation from the 202. What's new?
Hey, what's good, Law? Thanks for taking the call, man. Great show as usual.
Appreciate you.
I'm not going to be long. I just got, I guess, 2 quick points.
Okay.
You kind of covered the defense. My thing with stopping the run on those plays is that obviously Jordan Lewis is, and again, I don't want this to sound personal, but Gallup and Lewis have the same problem. They're just liabilities when they're on the field, and we need those spots to be occupied by productive players. So, not going to beat a dead horse on that. You already kind of covered that.
Yeah.
On offense, I'm looking at 2 things. Number one, I'm looking at Mike McCarthy in this run game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole point of the offseason and making some of the changes that we made was because we want to be more ball control, right? We want to run the football. That's what he said, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, what's going on? I mean, we're starting to look like we're just basically too reliant on Dak. I'm just failing to see the correction. I mean, the running game looks like an afterthought. It doesn't look much different than it did last year, if I had to be perfectly honest. We're still running out of shotgun. I'm not seeing any creativity in the blocking schemes. And we have a fullback that we don't really use. And I just think we're way too reliant on Dak. And I just think that we know how this story ends. So, I don't know. Give me some insight. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, if you're supposed to be balanced, right, with this particular team to help out the quarterback, then do that. We got resources. We got sources on this team. Like you got Rico. You also have a Hunter Lupke. Even you have other guys. You have other formations that you can do. I saw on a play, whereas if your offense is a little stagnant, if your wide receivers are not catching balls, then put them on the end around so that they can get loose up before you throw them the ball. I think that part of the creativity is voided over here. I do get with what you're saying, that you don't want to harp and beat up on certain players on defense like the Jordan Lewises of the world. But the Cowboys, I think that they do fall into that stigma of, if we pay the guy, let's play the guy. But it's about winning games at this point. And the Cowboys offense need to be able to do that. Now, granted, we see the goodness of what Dak Prescott is able to do, but we know for sure it can be better. We need to get better blocks up front, and we also need to utilize the running backs, not just slamming it through the A gap or B gap. Bring them up to the outside. We've seen that basically just what the Eagles were able to do. Swift wasn't getting busy inside. So what they did was, hey, let's put 21 personnel out there. Let's attack the edges and use our strength for that. Use them as his strength is, and that speed, and get out to the edges. And that's what they were able to do. And we're not doing that.
Yeah, and we got 100 coaches in the offensive building, and nobody can come up with a running play. I just refuse to believe that. So
true.
That's one thing. One last thing, and I'll get off of here. I'm looking at Brandon Cooks, and I love his attitude, and I love his demeanor. He seems to be a team guy. They don't know how to use him, and I think part of what I'm seeing, and I don't know, you tell me what you think. I don't think Dak likes throwing to short players unless they basically are wide open. And I get it, right? Because Dak likes to feel that he's got an advantage when he throws the football. So he likes guys that appear to have high catch radiuses. And I think Brandon Cook's catch radius is probably bigger than Dak thinks. But I think when the bullets are, as a metaphor, of course, when the game is live, and Brandon Cooks is running over the middle, I don't think Dak is ever looking to throw to him. So my thing is this. I think they need to use Brandon Cooks in a lot more motion, a lot more horizontal eye candy, and then maybe marry that with plays where he is going to be wide open. I think they're failing to use him in the way that will give us an advantage. I want your thoughts on that. I think height is an issue for Dak. I don't think he likes throwing to him over the middle. But I think there are other ways that we can use him. Let me get your thoughts offline, and I'll keep listening.
No doubt. Shout out to you, Glenn. Well, we seen him utilize Kevontae Turpin and Brandon Cooks and Kevontae Turpin. They're not, one is taller than the other one. When you look at it on the field, they both look like the same height and size, same height, not size. But the way that Cooks is being utilized in his offense, he's not even been used as a decoy. So that is an issue too. So I think that whatever it is, them boys are just not on the same page. To me personally, I'm not worried about that particular relationship, because if we can just start to utilize CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, then that is enough. I think that Dak Prescott, from a trust aspect, he still trusts Michael Gallup, and that's the issue there. So if we move Michael Gallup out, and then with this particular style and brand of offense, that take away that option. It's kind of like when you're taking a test and you have multiple choices. Take the option off. Take those multiple choices off, and just have, hey, who's the answer? CD. What's the next answer? Ferguson. What's the next answer? Should be Cooks. Take Michael Gallup out of the equation. Maybe we would see a better flow of the offense. Keep this in mind. I was talking to my guy Foots the King in the group chat, and he went to the degree whereas that drop, and shout out to him. Y'all be sure to check out Foots the King on his YouTube page and check him out on Twitter or the X app. He looks at it, that drop alone lost us the game. We would go up 21-14, I believe, if that was the case in the scenario, or 21-7 or something like that. Y'all let me know what when that drop occurred, what happened. But neither here nor there. He looks at it as if though that drop changed the whole momentum of the game. So we gonna have to work on trust, and we're going to have to work on receivers, but it's already going into week 10 now. I got Dr. Man from the 210. You in?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Dr. Warner. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, doing great.
Man, I'm going to make it great. I have a few things, man. I'm going to make it quick. So I was a little upset, man, after the game. I had to release my micro students early yesterday, so I was a little upset about it. But the points I want to make, man, is I'm proud of the boys, man. Cowboy fans, just relax. And what's really irking me, man, we still have our fans talking about Dak's money. Okay, a grown ass man is going to sit up here and try to figure out what another man has in his pockets is ridiculous, man. If you had a job at driver at UPS and you're making $80,000 a year, and the CEO comes on and say we're going to increase our driver's pay by $20,000, $100,000, you're not going to say nothing.
Right.
So get out of the man's pocket. He's making what he's making. Say it a different way. Next thing, brother. So I talked to you on multiple occasions about the ACL injury. So I told you I've been a Cowboy fan since 1970, man. I'll be 60 in a couple weeks.
Man,
it takes 9 months to heal for the average person that's not an athlete, right?
Right.
But it takes really about 2 years for healing. And I've told you on plenty of occasions, man, these players are not healed right, from the Gallups to the Steels, everybody, man. Whoever serves the ACL. I've only seen one person that was a beast with it. That was Adrian Peterson. He was the only person I've seen that came out and be like, man, this guy has defied everything. So it takes time.
Let me ask you this because we are fixated on our team, right? How is Chris Goodwin? I think that's his name, Chris Goodwin or Chris Godwin. Godwin. How do he look? Because he was one of those guys that had the ACL situation the same time that Gallup happened. So is he's now a household name, or he's kind of swept under the rug now since that injury?
I think his process, to me, from what I've seen of him, it's a little bit faster than Gallup's, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm sure the Cowboys have the best docs out there. Right. I just think with him, it seems like the way they utilize him is totally different. True. And from what I've seen, his process seems to be moving a lot faster than Gallup's, man. Gallup will eventually get there, but it may be too late. I don't know. The Cowboys might give up on him, but it like I said, and it takes time, boss. It takes a good solid 2 years, man. It takes time. I'm gonna hit on a couple other things because I know you got some folks on the line. So the thing is, what I want Cowboy fans to understand: if you go back to 2020 when the Eagles made the playoffs, what did they do when they got slammed by Tampa? The next year, what did Howie do? They went and got a first. They had their own first. 2022, they did a trade with the New Orleans Saints and got their first. So this is what our Cowboy fans have to understand. This dude stacked up first round. So if you're picking in the first, man, you're gonna have some star players. You got 2 plus your own. You're gonna have players. With our team, if we make it, this is what Cowboy fans understand. When you make the playoffs, unless you make trades, you're not picking less than 19. You're not because you're in the playoffs. By the time you get to the 19th spot, you're going to have players that are good, but they're not going to be in that top 10. The top 10 is there for a reason. And this is what our Cowboy fans will understand. We want this, we want that, but you have to look at what we've been so successful. You got to look at where we're picking. And this ownership has not made it a point to say, hey, let me see if I can move up. Let me give up this and this to probably get this player to change to change the face of our team. And I had one of your guys called in the other day talking about when we was talking about Johnson. The Cowboys not going to give up a first and a third for a rental. I wanted to come back on and tell him, first of all, that was not the case with Johnson. Johnson was not a first and a third. This is how much information some of the Cowboy fans really think they know. Next thing, man, Law, is the game that scares me coming. The game that really scares me coming up, and a lot of fans go, "Oh no, it don't." We're sitting up here talking about we're gonna win the next 4, but that Thanksgiving game against the Commanders, that's just not gonna be an easy walk. I'm here to tell our fans that is not gonna be an easy walk. So quit saying that. One game at a time. Last thing, Law. If you get a chance, go and look at this thing Michael Irvin did, this breakdown. He saw the same thing I saw. That pass to Shoemaker, that was not Dak's fault. That was not Shoemaker's fault. That was Ferguson's fault. If you look at when he ran the slant in, it was supposed to be like a modified pick.
Right.
He didn't go deep enough on the route. And if you look at the screen on the right side, you had Cooks, and I can't think of the other receiver. They did it exactly perfect, but obviously Dak went to that side. I think if Ferguson would have ran that route correctly, that would have pushed Shoemaker deeper on the pattern. So I agree with Michael Irvin on that. That was Ferguson's thing. Cowboy fans, last thing. Look, the Eagles, they have to play the Chiefs. They have to play the 49ers. They have a brutal schedule. And then the 49ers are going to be getting back Debo and Williams.
Yeah.
So their team might change. So don't think it's over with Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, it's still too soon right now, man. Yeah, it's still too soon.
Yeah, the Eagles get ready to hit the phone. Our out is Dolphins, Bills, Seahawks, and Commanders again. So our schedule's not easy, but the Eagles are getting ready to get some stuff handed. So I can say, hang in there. Oh, last thing, I'm sorry, man.
You good?
What I'm confused about, or what I don't want to happen, number 55 is about to come off of IR in a couple weeks. Oh man, I hope that is not a distraction for this team. I hope it's not a distraction for this team. I do know the politics of it. That's the only part why I don't like in the NFL, because they're not going to pay a player $10, $11 million a year, even though we see, with the naked eye, we see that guy on the bench is better, but they're just not going to pay a player $10 million to sit on the bench so he can put this player in. It just doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it don't. Next thing, I don't know, man. I just want them to really think about picking up these contracts next year with Curse, man. Because it seems like Curse is – I know they talk a lot, and Curse is a good player, but something's going on with him.
Right.
And then you kind of have to look at D-Law, because I think this is his – I think he's on his last year as well. I could be wrong with that.
Yeah. You got one more year. Well, I appreciate you, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you so much, man.
Okay,
appreciate you.
Thanks,
No doubt. That's my guy, man. Here's what I got to say. He threw a lot at me. But and I get where he's coming from. I looked at Chris Godwin stat lines there, and it looks pretty good since his injury. But one can argue Chris Godwin was a better player than Gallup before the injury thing occurred. And now Chris Godwin is kind of having a bad year, or a slow year, not a bad one. a slow year with 1 touchdown and only 400 yards. But shoot, Chris is Chris right now, man, and one can argue that's without Tom Brady too. So he did have, since his injury, 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and I'm not finna say that Michael Gallup was equivalent to Chris, but I think their contracts are similar. Y'all let me know. I think that what really occurred with the Cowboys is they leaned on projections and expectations instead of the reality part of it. But neither here nor there. Let's let this next caller on. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Is this Giovanni from the 803? What's your name? Who we speaking with? 803. All right. Noah Brown, man, you had a great game last game, man. Talk to me from the 469, man. Hey, man, good game, by the way.
Yeah, man, I had about 5 catches for 157 and a touchdown, didn't it?
Hell yeah, Noah, man, shoot. I mean, that's how you play, man. What happened to you last year, man? Come on. It was DPF, huh? It was DPF. It was DPF. That's what it was.
How you been, though? How you doing?
Oh, man. Right? Look. Low key, it's 2 teams that I can't stand losing to now. One is the 49ers because my brother, they gonna always talk that crazy stuff. And the 2 will be the Eagles. I got 2 brothers that's Eagles fans and 49er fans, and they've been hitting me up in this damn group chat. They won't let me make it. They got all type of memes all going and everything.
You got to deal with that online and offline.
Oh, man, all day, man, relentless. The only thing that gave me a little cushion, Twin, he couldn't talk as much. You know? He couldn't talk as much. But my brother, man, my other brother, man, he going ham, man. But go ahead, man, what you got for me?
Oh, okay. I ain't have much, man. I just every now and then I like to call in just to, check on you and stuff, make sure everything good with the Cowboy Nation. Yeah. But I will say, I don't know if we signed that guy yet, but I was just looking at some of the wear and tear. Yeah, I know he ain't played for 4 years, and we ain't gonna bring him on as a starter or nothing like that. But just looking at how Gallup playing right now, and compared to what Brian athletic ability can be, just to add like a head topper in the red zone. We ain't got to use him throughout the field, but I think red zone he can be a viable option that we don't have as for a head topper. I mean,
he do have 17 touchdowns in his career, in his short stay with the NFL. Martavis Bryant, he's still going to have to beat out some guys and turn some heads and practice all the way up, and he's going to have to catch a parachute to springboard some of the guys we already have. So I'm thinking more of the next year.
And guess what? It's still a good deal. That's why I say even if we don't use him, let's just keep him cuddled up, and we want you here just to keep him away from teams like the 49ers, the Eagles, some of our competitors. So I think we can win on that end, even if we don't use him. Make sure they can't get him and use him.
I see. I mean, to draft. To pick them up so the other. Yeah, I see you. But man,
if it ain't gonna cost us much.
Yeah, that's a weird way to look at it. But I feel you, fam. What else you have for the show before I let you rock?
Man, that was it, man. Because this week with the Giants, I'm not gonna take them lightly, which we are aware of that. I just want everybody to in this game just to stay focused and let's get out of there healthy. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in.
All right.
No doubt. Good call from him. I got the 956. You in the mix. Talk to me.
Yo, what's up, Law?
Nothing to it. Talk to me. What you got?
And I was gonna mention how I don't trust the coaching as far as Mike McCarthy goes. We've seen
who you trust more, Mike McCarthy or Dan Quinn?
Man. I would say neither. I mean, Dan Quinn already showed us what happened in Atlanta. Dropped. I'm just talking about in big game situations. McCarthy, he showed that he's not the man. He's not it. The last 2 playoff losses, when it's crunch time, when it's close games, and he climbs up. Like he's not clutch at all. When we blow teams out like Tampa in the playoff game, no issues at all. He doesn't need to be making quick decisions. Just the delay of game in this last loss, it just kind of clears things up. Like, this is just who he is. If it's crunch time, if it's a close game, we're not going to win. It's just what it is. Like, he's
is that Tyler Biadasz issue, or is that falls on the head coach right there? Because
that delay game. I'm guessing. He called into play pretty late. I wasn't there, but I'm guessing it was. He dropped the ball there. It's not the first time this happens when it's a close game.
True.
Delay game. The clock management. It's when it's crunch time. It's a close game. McCarthy's already shown us who he is. It's not going to happen for us. I think it's time to move on. Sadly, I'm all about the Cowboys, but it is what it is. And
who do you want as coach, though? Who do you want to move on to? That's a whole nother.
Anyone else? Anyone else? It's we. Sad to say, but he's not going to do it for us unless we start blowing teams out in the playoffs or winning by 10, where he's not going to cost us the game because of a last-minute call or clock management. Then I think it's time to move on. There's no reason to keep 10 years with him, just like we did with Jason Garrett.
Are you saying that we are equivalent to a Jason Garrett-led team right now, being 5-3 in the third season?
No. What I'm saying is this is what is it, his fifth year? I can't remember.
This is fourth year. Fourth year.
Yeah. We've already seen enough a sample size of who he is. With Jason Garrett, we saw a bigger sample size, and he just kept repeating the same thing over and over. If he can't come through this year, I respect Philly because, of course, I hate Philly, but I respect the fact that they can move on from a head coach, they can move on from a quarterback. They just trying to get, championships now.
But you do know that it's a game within a game. Do you think Sirianni will be a good coach over here in Dallas?
Maybe not. I'm not talking specifically about who they chose, but I'm just saying they're willing to drop it and just keep moving on. Try to see what works. I respect that. I think if McCarthy, if we miss the playoffs or we drop the ball in the first game, in a close game, I think it's time to move on, Law.
Hey man, hey, that's your opinion. I got no
second point.
Go ahead.
Yo, second point, Law. Man, Dak showed us who he is too. Like, we can trust him. Like, he outplayed Jalen Hurts. He outplayed him. He's good enough for us to win. We just need good coaching, better play calls, a guy that comes up clutch in the crunch time.
I feel you, man.
But Dak's good enough, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in, fam.
All right, thank you, Law.
No doubt. There's not a season, there's not a game that head-to-head that Dak didn't outperform Jalen Hurts, by the way. But Jalen Hurts got, a situation where he's been to the Super Bowl, and of course, right now their team is 8-1, and that win is, if you look at the head-to-head matchup, then you look at it and say, well, Jalen Hurts won that game, right? He didn't do a situation where he blew the game, right? The fumble that occurred bounced right back into his hands, and on top of that touchdown pass that he threw to Smitty was on the money. You can't even say one negative thing about that one. But I can say here that there is a game within a game when you are a coach here. We know who sits above all of it, and it's not Jason Garrett, God dog. It's Jerry Wayne Jones, So you got a coach within a coach. It's not the same. So we better be appreciative of what we got now, because it's so hard to win games in the National Football League. On top of that, for what this particular coaching staff, don't you guys know, we are doing things that we haven't done since 1992. There was a record that we, not this past week, but the weekend before, stat line came up 11 home games in a row, 10-0 after a loss, and these sorts of things. We wasn't doing that, but I'm not saying we keep this particular coaching staff just because, we are doing these type of things and not chastise this team. But, dog, you better be appreciative of what we have now opposed to what we had in the past. And this day could be worse. This day could be worse than what it is. So I'm always looking at it from that aspect of it. I got, let me go lock it up because we got.
The conference has been locked.
Yeah, so we're to be in about 15 to 20 minutes. So I got Rico, you live from the 919. Talk to me.
What's going on, Law?
Not much, man. Before you go, are you willing to get rid of Coach Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn right now? Is it? What's your thoughts?
So this week, first I want to say what's up and what's up to all the Cowboy Nation.
Salute.
Give me for my boys still under the weather.
Man, we're praying for you, bro.
Thank you. But I wanted he actually touched on the subject a little bit of what I was going to say about this team.
Mm-hmm.
The sad thing about Mike McCarthy is we really don't know what type of Mike McCarthy team it really is.
Right.
Because, it went back to a show that Brian Barr was on with y'all on the Final Word.
Right.
Back here earlier this year.
Ooh, way back. Yeah.
And he made a good point. And after he said, I thought about it. See, you got to realize, when Jerry hired Mike McCarthy,
mm-hmm.
he forced Kellen.
He did.
And then after he got rid of Kellen Moore, we got rid of a lot of different position coaches.
True.
So now he asked Kellen Moore his last year to try to microwave this thing, cook it quick.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And when you look at this team don't really have an identity. And what I mean by identity, this team hasn't had an identity of its coach probably since Bill Parcells. Because that was a football guy. And it was a football coach.
Yeah, yeah. Because let me say this though, if this team had an identity, far as from the coaching aspect of it, on the way Bill Parcells coached this game, those plays like what Lewis did. Oh my goodness, that play what
he would stay on the field. He'd come off the field.
Yeah.
The effort. Bill Parcells wouldn't let that slide.
He wouldn't let that slide. Not at all. Curse. He would have said something about Curse and the meltdown at the last minute.
Yes, it wouldn't have slid. But see, this is the thing. But Bill Parcells would have challenged Jerry and told him, "Hey, I don't care about what you paying him. I don't care about the politics. This team still has a lot of politics with it." And Big Game James said something a few weeks ago. He said, when have you seen an owner go 25, 30 years and then win when he first come in and then go that long and win again? Very seldom don't happen. See, this team, when you look at this Dallas team, the way it's built, it's not the talent is not the problem.
Right.
It's it's like working in a toxic company.
Yeah.
And every time we play against teams that are physical,
right,
and are on the same page from top to bottom, from the front office, the coach, and on down,
right,
we can't play in 4 quarters. You see what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. Rico, I gotta let you go though, but man, you're right on the money with everything, bro, and I appreciate you, fam.
You're welcome.
Good call from you. Yes, indeed. All right. I seen somebody say in the comment like, nah, Bill Parcells dropped the ball too. Remember the infamous Romo play. But keep in mind, the talent that we have on this team is not even close to the talent that Bill Parcells was able to just generate. Keep in mind, he inherited a team that was 5-11, 5-11, 5-11. He literally had the team that when the salary cap was at its all-time shambles, we were actually in the negative part of it, right? Scrambling around. So for us to even have any situation of getting to the playoffs was everything. Two different type of style and brand of teams. And he was literally fed up with the Joneses. That's why he really walked away. And because he just got tired of it. But I promise you, I bet my bottom dollar, if he was here for the amount of stay that Jason Garrett was here, shoot. We would have at least 2 Super Bowl appearances, for dog sure. I think that if he were to stay until 2007, there's no way on God's green earth we went to Cabo. No way. I got Coach Marr from the 803. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix. Talk to me, Coach.
I'm sorry, man. I had you on mute because I had you on mute when you had me on hold and stuff. And when you started talking, I was like, oh, shucks.
It's all good. It's all good, bro.
Hey, man, I heard the talk about with Terrence Steele, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, hey, man, and I see the PFF grade, and I said, well, I'm going to do what a coach would do. Let me go watch him every play.
Okay.
He ain't played bad, man. He had some. When he got beat, he got beat. But the majority of the time, if you watch him every play, I just ask anybody, go watch it. From the time he gave up the sack in the second quarter, yes, he's gonna get. When you playing against a Hassan Reddy, you gonna get beat sometimes. Hey man, you talking about a guy that's a Michael Parsons type guy. So you're not gonna win every battle. But from the physical aspect, I think when we got down to the last drive, those 2 plays he got beat. But you look at it, that's why I just don't understand these PFF grades, because if a guy just gets disengaged a little bit, they say that's a hurry, that's a loss.
Well, he is flashing late hands. His power and his drive is not as strong as what it was last year. I think that what the OC were breaking down that
I know you watch him.
Yeah.
If you say, okay, you say, well, hey man, I just want you, because I know you will do it, Law. I want you to say, hey man, okay, Terrence look bad, man. They say, man, let me go and just look at Terrence for the 70 plays that we ran. And I guarantee you'll come back on and say, wait a minute. Yeah, well, we had some hiccups there, but that's how it is. But in the run game and just the aggressiveness in him, I'm sure he is, dealing with those issues, but he just got beat at the wrong time. But if you look at that game, I mean,
12 pressures. He did allow 12 pressures in that particular outing.
I feel like this, Law.
Mm-hmm.
Take the PFF grade, right, and go back and look at it, and then tell me. Now I know you can do that for Coach Marr.
Right.
You tell me, say, wait a minute, how much value I got to give to PFF, man? This right here, man, is that what they call a pressure? It's okay. That's a pressure because he didn't play bad. The whole offensive line did not play bad at all, because when Dak tried to scramble, it was maybe after 2 or 3 seconds, and he never did have to scramble like, as soon as he get his feet planted, then he got to get out.
Coach, yeah, Coach. I get what you're saying, and I following you closely. What we're comparing Terrence to is from last year, of course, right? And he's not playing up to that skill set right now because he's still recovering, he's still favoring. Far as from what you're saying is, yes, throughout the entire game, of course, we look at the plays, and of course we're gonna judge the entire 60 plays opposed to the few plays that he did leave out there on the field. And, of course, that is one of the better defensive fronts in the National Football League. That is their strength of their team. I just think that right now, if this team would want to continue to win, that we're going to have to do chip and releases. We're going to have to also provide extra support. I think that if Dak Prescott had at least a second or 2 seconds more, talk to me.
I don't think so. and I say it again, watch it. And when you watch it, you'll have a different. I ain't say watch it. Not just the plays that we lose. Watch the whole game, and you will say, yes, we have some. And then they did put a tight end over there. They had the tight end lineup on his side most of the time on that, and they started out the game chipping on Tyron Smith at the beginning because I guess they were trying to see if Tyron was going to be up speeding when Tyron got there. Then they had the tight end over there, so that gave the guy. But those issues, he was not getting beat like a drum, like we saying. If you watch it, you'll have a different opinion of that. I'm just saying. I mean, the eye in the sky don't lie. If you watch it, you'll be like, well, it wasn't as bad as he did. And sometimes it's the timing guys lose that and that's the thing that we have to drill into our players. It's the timing of certain things when you lose. But that's the glaring piece. But I mean,
hey, Coach. Hey, you the lone wolf that's howling right now. He's gonna have to next game. He's gonna have to play better. He's gonna have to play better next game.
Once you watch it, if you go back and do that research, watch it, you'll come back and say, Coach Marvel, right? I'm just saying, watch.
Hey, all right, Coach. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in, and I really appreciate you for your thoughts and input on the game. Salute.
Right.
I got MJ, man. I went back-to-back Mars, man. Mars from the 206, you in the mix. Talk to me, man.
What up, Law? What up, Law Nation, all the people? For one thing, let me tell the one guy, the doctor, that's me. You got to go watch Hanging with the Boys. And Nate Newton is the one definitely said he was not going to give up a number 1 and 3 for a player this year. And we still lose. Now we ain't got no draft picks. Let me tell the doctor that. Point 1. 2, Coach Maul, I can't agree with you, Coach Maul. I seen the tape too. Law, he got destroyed, Law. He got destroyed, and that's why them passes that we saw going across the middle that we could have hit 87 with, and the pass that we threw to 18, and the pass that we probably could have threw on that blitz, on the goal line, the problem was 78. That's why Dak Prescott sometimes was overthrown on a few of his passes. They were scared of 78. Now, we should have chip blocked the tight end. Nah, they let him go one-on-one, Law. He got destroyed. He is the worst right tackle in the NFL right now, y'all, at 12%. That is pitiful. So if we going to play him, we gave him all this money. It seems like every time we get these people all this money, they start playing like elves. So, Coach Moore, I can't agree with you, brother. Your boy got destroyed. He the one lost the game for us. And Law, Nate Newton said one thing. He said, make sure these players got to start playing. We can't make no more excuses. We was at the 6-yard line, Law, and they choked. So I'm going to put it on the players. I ain't going to, even the coaches, give me 1 second. Even the coaches need to, like you say, with the running play, start playing the fullbacks. Run 23 and 40 up the middle and let number 20 hit them edges. Sweep right, sweep left. Take 13 out of the game. Take y'all boy out of the game. Y'all was talking about my boy. Law, I'm going to get you now. I'm going to get everybody. Y'all talking about my boy. Was it the rapper that we traded to Miami? He played better in the slot than y'all boy number 2. Number 2 is still worried. He's getting killed. Y'all want to lose. So, Law, your boy better come on, Law. Law. Your boy better come on.
Appreciate you for calling in, MJ, man. Good call from you, bro. Hey, Kevin Joseph, he can't make the starting lineup over there, man. What's going on with him over there, man? He can't make the starting lineup in Miami, though.
He can play the slot, though, Law. Better than number 2, and he's faster. Come on, Law.
That I will give you. Salute, bro. Appreciate you. I'm just letting this offense play right quick. And it's not cut up. It's just a raw cut up right here. So it's not cut up far as the outtakes. So I'm just letting that play in the background here. So Goddess, you live from the 347.
Hey, Lord, hey, Nation, what's going on? Like the last caller, I got to disagree. No, 78 was a problem last night. I would have gave him a lower grade. I felt they were too generous with what they gave him, to be honest. He should not be playing right now. He cannot put his weight on his left side. If you look at the film, like Coach Marv was suggesting, you will see, because we went over this last night with Okoye Media, because I was screaming at it. He played the film so we could all look and see.
Right.
He can't plant his foot in the dirt. And the Eagles noticed this at halftime, because when they came out in the second half, when they were attacking him, they kept leaning him to the left. And because he couldn't plant his foot, he kept it up in the air when he was trying to block. He kept tripping, and they would run by him. That's why here's
what
he got his sack.
Here's what I look at when we do PFF things. You know, I take the grade, whatever they give him. They give him like a passing grade of like 35. They give him a run block grade of 59. I take those grades and I throw it out, right? And I look at the tape, and we look at the pressures, the tangible things. This season, he allowed 5 penalties. Is that tangible or intangible? Those are tangible, right? He allowed 6 sacks this season. Is that intangible or tangible? Those are tangible things. He allowed 6 hits on the quarterback. Tangible things where we can look at tape and we'll see, okay, he allowed those things. Pressures. He allowed 28 pressures. Those are tangible things. So PFF do a good job on the tangible thing. The intangibles are the grades, right? So those are things that I take and I throw out. But go ahead, So Goddess. What's your other point?
I say this because you know he's hurt, and because he can't move laterally when he needs to, and they notice that, and they're leaning to that side where he can't block properly. He needs to sit, or they need to have the fullback, because they had the fullback. They did have Hunter at one point on that side to help him out, and then they just stopped. I felt like had he had help during that last drive, we wouldn't have been getting the sack, and we would have had time for the plays to develop. Everyone's asking, why did he throw to Shun? Shun beat his man. Had he not got illegally tackled in the back, he still caught the ball. He would have went over the goal line.
Yeah, that was a proper progression.
So I'm not even mad about that throw. But they're like, why didn't he throw to CD? CD was double coverage. Why didn't he throw to 87? 87 didn't become the tight end, Ferg. He didn't become open until late. He didn't have time to go to that side of the field. So he looked at what was open on the first read because he's trying to draw attention to that side. And then he looked over because you saw him start to turn a little at one point, and then he just turned and let the ball go back to his first read because he saw that he was about to get slammed.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all got to slow it down and really look at the film because people look at it in, like, you know, when they zoom in, when the camera zoom in, they're not looking at it from the full field, the full effect. I feel like when you do the breakdown, Law, when Okoye do the breakdown, when, you know, Botch, when people do the breakdown, they really see what is developing in total. They understand more about the thinking of that because people got to realize he get the football in his hand. He don't got 5 seconds. He not Tom Brady. The line is not holding where he could just sit back and think about it.
Yeah.
He don't got Jalen Turbot where Jalen Hurts O-line where he could just sit back and think about it. He got to get that ball out in under 2 seconds. So he got to look quick as possible. And if he sees somebody flying at him, he got to get that ball out.
No doubt.
It's simple as that.
It's simple.
He couldn't run to his side a lot last night. If y'all really looked at it, he very rarely ran to the right side where he was scrambling out. Yeah. And one thing I got to say, please, on the red zone, stop going in shotgun in the red. Play under center or run it in. That's all you need to do. Every time we're going shotgun in the red, it very rarely works out for us, and they really need to stop that. Just play on the center, play the line, or give it, like I've been saying every time I call in, give it to 40 and Rico and let them run it.
Let pound it in.
Yeah, pound it in.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling.
Pound it in.
No doubt.
Thank you.
No doubt. Good call from you. Oh my goodness, good call. All right, so some valid points here, and it goes back to the old saying, just protect my blind side, right? So Dak Prescott in that game, his blind side pretty much held up all the way up until, shout out to Jalen Carter in that play right there. That was the only time that his blind side exposed him a little bit. But outside of that, it was visibly the Terrence Steele way. And we got two bad guys on our offensive line right now. Two bad guys, and I'm not trying to beat these two guys up. Tyler Biadasz is not playing up to snuff that he was playing at last year, nor Terrence Steele. Now, I'm not going to count the money and say, well, Terrence Steele got paid $90 million. Let's play up to $90 million status quo. But we can see when we pull up the tape or what have you that, we got to keep protection on this side. We got to make sure somebody is there so that he can get some things going. Outside of that, we're having a little issue with Terrence Steele. Is he playing to the level whereas he's the worst right tackle in the league? No, I don't agree with Marv on that. I'm talking about MJ. But he is not playing up to the levels of what he was playing at last season. That's all I'm saying. And right now, this is the bed that we're going to have to deal with, or this is the devil we're going to have to deal with in this particular year, and hope that this offensive line, due to continuity, is going to get better down the stretch. I don't see any possible way whereas the Cowboys are going to bench him. He's going to play through it, and we're going to hope that everything can work its way out. I got from the 754, you're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix. Talk to me.
What's up, Law? This Dallas Cowboy 1992.
92, man. Hey, this is another phone you got? Shoot. Yeah, I know.
Hey, I'm through with AT&T, man. AT&T, blame it on AT&T, brother.
You in Florida, though, right?
That's right by the Dolphin Stadium, about 10 minutes from the Dolphin Stadium.
That's probably what it is. That's what it is, bro. Because if you in Dallas, AT&T will work, man.
Yeah, I'm down here, right, 10 minutes away from the stadium, not even. Yeah, but I'm gonna say this, man. All this doom and gloom talk, man. See, everybody they talk about the Eagles. This is what we want. Keep on talking about the Eagles.
Right.
Keep on talking about the Niners. Keep on talking about all these teams that's winning. You only can go but so high. The Eagles, they soaring right now. They soaring. They flying high right now. But guess what? At some point, you got to land. You got to have a landing point, okay?
Right.
And the point is right now, Dallas, you look at our next games, we can't underestimate these low-level teams. We got to take care of business. This is what's going to tell me about Mike McCarthy, how serious he is right now. If we don't take care, if we fumble the ball and lose one of these low-level teams in the next 4 to 5 weeks, we not ready. We pretenders. But if we go ahead and handle business, put our head down, and then we take care of the Eagles when we play them, look, the Eagles, all they got to do is drop 2 games. And if we go ahead and win out our 4 or 5 games, guess what? We're going to be right there in the mix. It's going to be right there in the mix, and we're going to have payback. But see, the Cowboys, we got to stay focused and remain focused. And like the sister said, stop being, when we get on the goal line, spreading everything out. I hate that. Go back to the 90s, how we used to get to that goal line and we don't give a damn. You know it's a run. Stop it. Now, if you stop this, fine. Kick the damn field goal. Take the point. Okay? But we gotta come with power and force, man. We're playing too finesse. That's the problem with the Cowboys. We play too finesse instead of a mean streak. Okay? And Dak Prescott, I take my hat off to Dak. Without Dak, we nothing, man. We're nothing.
No doubt, man. One more point before I let you rock, though. One more point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, man. We just gotta handle business, man. We don't handle business, then we're gonna be on the couch, man. That's all I gotta say, Cowboy Nation. And guess what? How about them Cowboys?
How about them, man? Good call from Cowboy 92. It's fourth phone, man. Hey, you should have told me who you got services with. But I would say this. I don't think that a team that's – I think that I don't like saying the word finesse because I think that we do have some capabilities of showing some physicality on defense. But from the offensive perspective, we are a little bit more finesse. I think that we do have the personnel to switch it and click it over to be physical, but we don't use Rico. We don't use Hunter. So those things right there is puzzling. Hopefully, if we continue to talk about it, that they'll make those necessary corrections there down the stretch and get things going in the best way possible. Let's go to the Cowboys. Dwayne from the 817. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix. Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, Law? Appreciate you taking my call, sir.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
I hope all is well with your family and all.
Yeah, all is well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, what I was thinking about the game for last week is two foes for the Cowboys for that game. Mm-hmm. It's one of the officials, and the second part that I have is players are not hitting their assignments. Because, I mean, you see some missed assignments on defense. You're playing too wide, should be playing narrow. You're playing too narrow, you're playing wide. Then on the pick for Shoemaker, Ferguson should have picked him. And then, again, the referee didn't see. He already tackled the man before the ball was even in the air. So, I mean, it's too many glaring things that's going on. But Dallas needs to clean up their mistakes, so they need to be a little bit more fundamentally sound. So it's like they were lacking somewhat. And then you can't go hard on Steele because Steele just coming off of an injury. He's not going to be 100%.
Right.
He's probably giving us 85% right now.
Let me ask you this, though, Cowboy Dwayne, and this is my thought. I think I said it about 45 minutes ago. Whose fault is that?
I would say it would be the evaluation of the scout, the medical evaluation. They should, hey, let him sit down for a little bit. We can put somebody in there for the first couple of weeks and let him see if he get his strength back. But don't put him out there for him not to achieve what you want him to achieve. You setting him up to fail. Instead of getting the best out of him, you making him going to be the weakest link on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the observation of the medical staff and saying, we paid this man so much money, I need him on the field. But you got to look at his health. He's going to have a life after time football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't look at us. They don't look at players as people. They look at players as property.
Yeah.
And it has to change.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to have to
I'm not worried about my Cowboys looking forward, going towards the rest of the season because we have room, we have time to improve, and we have time to make adjustments. So I'm not worried. It just shows where we at when we play Philly. We can beat them. It's no problem that we can beat them. We just need to clean up a little bit of things that's going on, and we should be able to find.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you for calling in. Salute.
Thank you, man. Let's go, Cowboys. Cowboy Nation, keep your heads up. We're going to be all right.
Yes, indeed, man. It seems like every time we have a loss, I have to reel folks back in. And it's hard to be when you are speaking your truths, right? And you're objectively giving your analysis on everything. I can't appease everyone. There's always going to be somebody who's mad that if I'm objective with my approach here, and I get it, right? But we got to be this way. I can't be no other way. But you guys got to understand that at the end of the day, the Jones family decided to put a guy that's recovering. The expectations, let me say this real talk. The expectations will always be the same. There's no way around the expectations. Nobody cared. Nobody cared that we had Chan Gailey out there as the coach. No one cared that Dave Campo went 5-11, 5-11, 5-11. Nobody cared that all of those things and that process is, I don't feel like going all the way down the doggone history line. Nobody cared. They want the results. So when you put a guy that's recovering from an ACL tear, nobody care. Like even what Coach Marv said, hey, Terrence Steele, he still played pretty good in that game. Nobody care about what Coach Marv is saying. The results are his good wasn't good enough. He allowed 12 pressures. For the season, he got 6 sacks on his resume allowed, 5 penalties. He's not playing the same way he played a year ago. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cared about Michael Gallup dropping that ball in a pivotal situation. Nobody cares about those things. Of whether or not the flag was picked up on Michael Gallup, even though it was hands to the face. Those are excuses, Law. We don't care. We don't care. I had multitudes of Eagles fans hit me up in my inbox saying, hey, y'all crybaby Cowboy fans, the officials gave y'all 10 penalties. Hey, we got flagged for 10 penalties too. Accumulated more yards. But nobody cares. Because at the end of the day, the Eagles won. They can drop their bird droppings over here, right? And they're going to scoff. If the Cowboys win this, if the Cowboys would have won on Sunday, there would have been no Stephen A. Smith video. Laughing. There would have been no all of these celebrities making videos, scoffing and laughing at the Cowboys. There would have been no Shay Sharp pouring up Hennessy or whatever his drink and smoking his cigar of choice. Why? Because the Cowboys won. But when the Cowboys lose, everybody is going to speak about it. Everybody going to give their thoughts on it. It's literally the Cowboys versus everybody. And nobody cares about Law Nation. Y'all just want the results. Put it like this. I can give a recap at my minimum budget, right? Shay Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, they already multimillionaires. They already on top of their game. And you check in on them, you will see the support they give those boys. $300, $400. Not counting their money, but they value those guys' opinions. They go onto a 4-ladder, 3-ladder network, spit their rhetoric, come over here to the YouTube sides and still spit their rhetoric, and people will still believe them 1,000% over me. It's just little low Law Nation over here. Y'all don't care. I had somebody to say, I put in 5 or 6 hours. I put in over 8 to 10 hours on Sunday talking about this game, going giving y'all play-by-play analysis, going giving y'all pregame show, giving y'all postgame show. Unbelievable time. And the first comment under my comment section, he's only caring about the money. He don't really care whether or not we win or lose. Those were my comments. Scoffing and laughing at me, right? Y'all don't care. Organization don't care. Give y'all unbelievable time. Support. We got the 804. You're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, Law? King Brian here, man. From
Appreciate
804.
you.
Calling
Appreciate
you off a different number, man. How you doing? I hope all is well with you.
Hey, all is well. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir, Law. I just wanted to touch on a couple points here. My first point I had wanted to make was as far as the Terrence Steele situation, I feel like Coach got to put him in some type of position to work towards his strength. Like how Terrence Steele get his contract was because that he was kicking out on the outside, blocking guys, smashing guys. We ain't running no sweeps. We ain't working towards his strength. And to be honest with you, he was never a really good pass protecting tackle, period. You know, so like that's the truth that's right there. So in coach situation and him coming out injury, you gotta at least put somebody to help him right there, or you at least gotta call some plays to get his confidence going.
Big facts.
I feel like the more that he can get out into, you know what I'm saying, it hit people and hit the edge and build his confidence up, that'll boost his pass protection up. So that's what we lacking. So and my next thing is, we see that he's an issue. What's the fix? Do you remove him out the football game so he can lose confidence for the rest of the year, or do you, I guess, call plays to help him out? Like, how do you fix him? Because obviously his confidence is shot, and he's a liability right now. That's a fact. You know?
Yeah.
How do you fix it?
Well, the Cowboys had a situation now that these guys they'd have made this the bed we decided to be in, and organically we're gonna have to get better. We're gonna have to heal through this process and go through the rough terrain of the long endurance of the season. I think that Terrence Steele, he's gonna see, okay, man, I'm trying to learn how to move around in my body that wasn't the same that it was before the injury. And I got to build the plane literally while it's in the air, because at this point, is he better than whoever's on the backup of him? Yes. Even the guy. Yeah. Go ahead.
I really say that's kind of an unknown, because you got some guys that you might put right there, but that's the unknown. And
there you go.
So all we got to base it off is how he get his contract in the first place. To me, Mike McCarthy, what he's doing wrong to me, he is sending Dido and Pollard up the middle of the A and the B gap. They're using them incorrectly. These are speed backs who can maximize on their potential by hitting the outside. These fast guys, these guys ain't big enough to go up the middle. See, we got to deal with what we got right now. We don't have a power back to send up those gaps. So like what Mike McCarthy do, right? We'll start the football game. He'll hand the ball off and send them out the middle. When it don't work, you get pass happy. Now you're playing towards a turn still weakness, because he won't never a strong pass protector anyway, even before his injury. You know, so it's like, come on, Mike, we gotta be creative to figure some things out to start playing towards our players' strengths.
Well, that's the only thing that we got to look at in this upcoming weeks or what have you, is to also understand that you got to play to your player's strength. You're gonna have to also utilize your playmaker, and just tell Dak, don't be afraid to coach. Continue the coaching, right? Tell Dak, hey, you played an unbelievable game. You did X, Y, and Z. He don't have to do this openly. He can do this pretty much behind closed doors and say, hey, I know we want to spread the wealth around, but let's focus on CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson. Things happen good when those boys get the ball.
Right. And that was my last point is identity and the trajectory of this team is started to surface, because we're taking the field, throwing that thing to CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson. That's kind of an identity that we start to create. So Turpin, Sobert, Cooks, and Gallup just got to fill in as needed. But we start football games, target CeeDee Lamb, target Ferguson, run Pollard on the outside. He's a step back. Hit him on the outside. Get him on his space. Call a screenplay. Get Terrence Steele out in space. Let him hit somebody. See, Tyler Smith. When Tyler Smith run angry and get on his space and pancake guys, this man have an unbelievable pass protection for the rest of the game. It just boosts their confidence, But when you put him in uncompromising positions, man, this dude getting killed out here, and everybody replace him. Do this, do that, do this. The coach got to help the man out too, man. It's all
no doubt, man. Like, hey, good call from you, bro. I got a dip though, but I really appreciate you. Thank you for calling in, fam. Good call from you. Yes, indeed. I mustered through. I handled through. I was able to get through. We had over 30 people on the line there. We went through most of them for those who stood in. But Cowboy Nation, great show today. I want people to understand that the best way to support the nation is hitting that like button, sharing this content. Let people know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Keep in mind, new media is here. We got unbelievable. I know that you guys give us unbelievable support, and I really appreciate that. Charlie G, appreciate you. The question is, you let Big Mike go. Who you getting? This was already a playoff team. Can't get out of the second round in the playoffs. This team has not been elevating. Yes, Charlie G, I agree. There's really slim pickings, especially when you got somebody that got their hands all over this team from the owner position and the GM that's not allowed to coach freely. There's always, I'm telling people all the time, there's always a game within a game, and especially with the coaching staff here in Dallas. There's no myth. That is an actual thing. Charlie G says also, we seen this show before. The Dallas will win 11 to 12 games. This go to the playoff. This be the problem. The problem will be who they play in the second round on the road. Well, the Cowboys have every ability right now to control their own destiny. They have every ability right now to be in the front driver's seat. They take care of business. They win their games. Of course, it's not over with. It's not like we got swept by the Eagles, right? We got to see them again. I don't know which week it is. Y'all can let me know which week we see the Eagles again. But we'll see them again. They won by 5 points at the crib. Now they got to come to our spot, and we will see how we face off from there. On top of that, they got to play the doggone 49ers. 49ers might give them an L, and they might catch an L then. So there are multiple ways that we can look at this. And the 49ers, they got 3 losses on their resume as well, right? So we're not that far behind from anybody in the NFC. Now, the AFC, that's a whole nother situation. That's a battle within a battle, whether it's the Ravens or whether it's the Kansas City Chiefs. So we are pretty much in good conditions. We're playing for home field. We got to get a home game, right? And we can talk about we've seen this before, but no. The last time the Cowboys had back-to-back seasons of going to the playoffs was in the 90s, right? Or the early, 2000 or something like that? 2006 and 07. So I think this is still a playoff team. I think we're going to get there. But think about all of the bull that we had to go through, right? Think about all of those things. Think about all of those things, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want you guys to think that this is the same. See, that's what the 4-letter, 3-letter networks like for y'all to believe. Here we go, the same old Cowboys. And they got us fighting each other. They want you to, they wish to destroy what is being built here. I would take some bad clock management with Mike McCarthy, but he got to fix some of these things. I would take some miscommunication with Dan Quinn, but for right now, their resume and what they're doing is a whole lot better than the previous defensive coordinator, the previous head coach that was here. So there's 2 ways we got to look at this. Yes, we lost. Yes, we down. Yes, it's a situation. We won this. We win this week. If we would have won, it would be 1,000 people watching me right now. We lost. 1/3 of the people show less support. Don't want to tune in. Don't want to check in. As a content creator, it's difficult sitting in this seat. I have no control of the outcome of the game. We have no control of the outcome of what Jerry Jones is going to think. But y'all will give so much input to the Stephen A. Smith of the world, Shay Sharp, George Taylor. Y'all will allow those people to control your mind of this team and take away with what you see on the field and to get you to think that this is the same old Cowboys. Y'all begin to look at this game as a prison of, hey, that we are the only ones that goes through this. What the 49ers just went through was very terrible. They lost 3 weeks in a row. We lose one game, and all of a sudden, it's the end of the world. By 5 points, by the way. That a game that we clearly could have won. I'm not even going to bring the aficionados in here. Real Eagle fans who hit me up, they know, damn, we got away with this one. They know. That's why they ain't really talking like that. Real Eagle fans, they know. Dang. Woo! We was on the good end of this particular game. Good luck until we see you again. The Eagles fans, it's like the Kevin Harts of the world. Let me see if I can pull up that picture. Them the ones that doing all of the doggone talking. Them the ones that doing all of those fickle Eagle fans, right? Those that saying, yeah, man, we love Howie. Howie was the same guy. Roseman, whoever his name is. Howie was the same guy that a third of them was telling him, we apologize, we apologize. So don't get it twisted. It's not ice cream everywhere. So don't be running off when we lose a game. Don't be listening to the naysayers. The Super Bowl is not won nor lost in week 9. We still building over here. Still trying to correct our issues. We got a lot of it over here. We here. And our team been losing for 27 years. On the bigger picture. But we ain't folding up like a wallet nor a lawn chair. We're not here only because we won. Your support should be the same. I shouldn't have to beg y'all to hit that like button. I shouldn't have to tell you to share this content. I shouldn't have to tell you guys that I have to pay money for the film. I have to pay money for the restream. I have to pay big money for the high-speed internet to give you guys this type of an attention. It should be automatic. These things should be given. It's a free episode. I shouldn't have to bang on the table to tell y'all, hey, hit those cash apps up. Hey, hit that PayPal link up. Hey, hit that doggone super chat up. Hit the stars button. It should be automatic if you like what you're hearing. You should know that we done spent over $4,000 just to go out there to Oxnard off my own dime. So we work, hustle to make some of that back. So when you're saying that, hey, Law's going live only for the money, no, it's for the nation. You will lose a piece of me if I go somewhere else. I turn down things so I can give y'all the authentic view of me. Let that sink in. If I go to a network, I can't give it to you freely. And yes, those networks paying big money. But I would rather get it out of the mud so I can be freely, so I won't have to be pinned into a conversation that I can't speak on that, or I won't be able to say that. I got the receipts to show you some of the offers that you guys would say. There's people that's willing to buy this channel for $250,000. But I'd rather get it out of the mud for free and grind. Law Nation is not to be sold to anyone. No. $250,000, you're gonna have to raise that money up even more. Then we'll think about it. But if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it and fret for it and plan to lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or famish, or fame, or the sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged, grim, and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation, and everyone that's listening, even if you're not a Cowboy fan, even if you're just a fan of the law, even if you're just a fan of the sport in general, you will get it, Cowboy Nation. You will get it. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, come on with my button neck. Come on, baby.
Does it better? They can come closer than close.
Yes, baby.
Original, they never will be.
Yes, indeed. It never will be. Come on, baby.
Yes! Here we go! Here we go! Whoa! Give me my theme music.
Yeah! Roll those credits, baby. Until next time, DC for life, baby. Win, lose, or draw.
I've been really in the field, lot of rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal.
Shout out to y'all. Super chat, appreciate you. Thank those that's on the Facebook group. Appreciate y'all so much. Robert Moore, appreciate you for the 200 stars.
Count that too, count it up.
Come on.
Lately, I just wanna run it
Until next time, baby.
Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change to the safe, got blues inside.
Write this down. All money ain't good money.
Roll my change, take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now.
Who will law?
Yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment.
Shout out to you, JR. Shout out to JR2142 for making the thumbnails on game day. Appreciate him. And shout out to the other JR. Shout out to all of the JRs.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pill at night. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I can take it to a meal.
Until next time, salute.
Kinda check the song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
When you pray for rain, you gotta deal with the money.
Count that too, count it up. Nobody does it better. Lately, I just wanna run it up.